Welcome to the morning shoot around here on the Athletic NBA Daily. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. With me early this morning. I feel like I'm still at the Thunder Arena right now. What's going on? It's my kid's last day of school, and so I'm,
Oh, nice, cool.
At the arena late last night, but up early this morning to see them off to their last day of school.
Mm-hmm.
Ready for some summertime.
God, I used to love the last day of school.
Oh, it's great.
It's the best feeling. You don't do anything. They're not going to do anything in their classes. They're going to just go have either a pizza party or something along the lines of that. I don't know if they still do that, but maybe a pizza party. Watch a show or something. I don't know.
Half day.
Yeah, half day. Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot going on. So
beautiful. Love it. Amazing.
There's going to be a lot going on with the Denver Nuggets, though, this offseason.
Yes, there will be.
You would think.
Mm-hmm.
You would think.
Yep. I'm very interested to see what happens with this team because I remember when they fired Mike Malone, there was conversation, or Michael Malone. I apologize, Michael. Sorry.
Yeah,
I know you like Michael Malone. When they fired Michael Malone, there was conversation of, oh, well, we wanted to get ahead of firing him because we didn't want a deep playoff run to cloud our judgment of this team.
Yeah.
So they just knew going in that they're going to make some changes. There were going to be some wholesale changes of this team. What exactly happens? I guess that's what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, it is difficult to specifically make Michael Porter Jr. trades, which I think is like where everybody starts.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
With this team.
Yeah.
And I don't know if specific teams come to mind for you, because I think if you're Denver, what you want back is probably 2 rotation players.
Yeah, or 3 if you can get them.
If you can get, 4. Why stop there?
Yeah, I was talking to Dave about this before we recorded on Monday about Michael Porter Jr. and I kind of likened it to the Rudy Gay trade for the Raptors. So if we go all the way back to 2012, so 13 years ago, the Raptors traded Rudy Gay. At that time, they had Rudy Gay, Kyle Lowry, and DeMar DeRozan. And they traded Rudy Gay because it just wasn't working. Those 3 had no idea how to play with each other. It was like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's trade Rudy Gay. So they traded Rudy Gay, and it was a weird package. Really weird package from the Sacramento Kings. It was Grievous Vasquez, Patrick Patterson, and Chuck Hayes.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, okay, all right, sure. But those guys became like the bedrock. They were massive for that like first couple of years of them becoming a playoff team. They have to pull off something like this. Like 3 guys where you're like, really? Like those 3 guys? But those 3 guys turn out to be something. That's exactly what Denver needs to do.
Wow. Yeah, I kind of forget that like anytime that any team traded Rudy Gay, they just got better.
Yes, they did.
Was a thing. Like
Memphis.
Yeah, when Memphis traded him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, this is way better.
Yeah.
Okay. So any teams come to mind that you think would? I mean, here's the deal. If MPJ is healthy, he's a 6'10" lights out shooter.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which is something that teams would want. His money doesn't go for that long. He's only got 2 years left.
Yep.
So this isn't like some crazy long deal for a player that just can't play at all. He's got to deal with the injury over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think that there's got to be some options out there. Is there a team specifically that comes to mind for you?
Let's just start with the easy team, the Brooklyn Nets. Can we start with Brooklyn?
The easy team, the team that we've like continually said doesn't have enough players. Okay, I am so interested now
because they have money. They'd be like, all right, cool, we can take on. They have
because of
like $60 million in cap space.
Yeah,
you can entice them to take on Michael Porter Jr.'s contract.
Okay.
So MPJ, all right. And you know what? Let me pull up my trade machine. Let me whip it up. Let me whip it open here. Okay. All right. On my docket, I have Michael Porter Jr. going the other way, makes $38 million next year. Okay. On the other side, do you think they could get Cam Johnson? Or is that just like, are we not?
I mean, what in what world would any team make that deal? No, you can't do that. That's cheating. That is cheating.
Fine. What if we include the 2031 first that the Nuggets have? Does that change things?
We're trading Porter Jr. and a first already.
I know it's tough. It's tough out here. It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at this roster and I'm not really sure what is out there. The
problem is it's you're trading like for like. And if you're Brooklyn, I guess getting the first helps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If they're getting the first and they're just basically swapping like for like here, I guess we can go with that.
Okay.
The only thing with Cam is such a great culture fit, and not to say like there's anything wrong with MPJ, culturally, but I don't know that he provides the same kind of leadership.
Sure. Yeah, that's probably true. I think that's the trade. Like that's the most you can do. I don't know if there's anybody else on the Nets roster that even makes sense. You get Cam Johnson.
You Jalen Wilson guy?
Sure. Yeah, maybe. Maxwell Lewis. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, Keon Johnson. I do like Keon Johnson, but
Keon is not going to play in the playoffs. don't do that.
This is just my draft brain right now. Derek Whitehead, Long Island Nets, plays well. I don't know.
When you said this is the easy team, I was like, what team is that? I was confused a little bit.
I changed my mind. I didn't realize how barren the Nets roster was. I thought we could maybe get like another rotation player out of there, but it's only Cam Johnson. Do you have a MPJ team?
Well, I wonder about Chicago.
Sure, they were interested, right? They were somewhat, yeah.
Yes, and I mean, listen, there's some guys on this roster.
Yeah.
That you don't quite know what to do with. You've got to basically match the 38.3 million, which is going to be the hardest thing. But like if you could get, and I know there's nothing that's going to be like so exciting here. But if you could get like a Kevin Huerter and a Patrick Williams,
Can I barter for Lonzo Ball? Can we get Lonzo Ball in there?
I mean, Lonzo with Jokic would rock.
It would rock. Yeah.
As long as he's healthy.
Yeah, for sure.
Is the statement of his career.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that would be amazing. I mean, I don't know.
Okay. I mean, how about this?
They need a backup center really bad. So like you could do Zach Collins and I think they have multiple ways of acquiring him.
I will say there are a lot of Grievous Vasquez's on this team. There's a lot of Chuck Hayes and Patrick Patterson's on this bull.
This is yes. Even one of the guys' name is Patrick. Okay.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of Patricks in the NBA, but we have the chance to recreate the two-Pat trade with the Bulls, where it's like Patrick Williams, Zach Collins, and
oh right, I forgot Patrick Patterson, Thunder legend. Right? Yes.
Yeah. We were warned by a lot of Raptors fans that
I know
he's not as good as the percentages look.
The starter versus the bench minutes. I know. Yeah.
You know what we did? We did? We ignored that. And we said, not for us. And you know what? He was definitely. You guys were right. All of you.
Yeah.
All of you were right.
Usually, that's how it works. That's how
it did not work. Did not work out for two.
Good guy though. I really like him. Big movie fan. He's a big movie guy. Loves movies.
Big movie guy. Yes. Yeah. He had like a movie club or something.
Yes, he did.
He would invite like
fans or whatever,
kids or fans to like come watch movies with him. It's like
yeah, that was very cool. Shout out to Patrick Patterson. Okay, can I can I suggest another idea? Since we're in the realm of like, hey, we're willing to include this Nuggets pick, okay?
Yeah.
The Bulls cannot extend Kobe White this summer. And by cannot, I mean Kobe White will literally not accept the contract extension because it's 140% of what he's making right now, which is not a lot of money. And so he's going to next summer be a max player. Or something along the max. Yeah, probably not a max. Max might be a little bit too much, but more than $20 million, right?
Yes.
He's probably I don't know. I'm just thinking of like guards in that realm. He's probably making like Emmanuel Quickly money. Like he's probably looking at IQ or maybe what Josh Giddey gets this summer. And he's like, I would like that. That's sort of where I'm at. So what if they do Michael Porter Jr., attach the pick, give me Kobe White, give me one of the other guys, maybe if you said Zach Collins or something, and call it a day.
I mean, that
is that too good for the Nuggets?
Probably. Like that, but that's very interesting, I think. Like if you can get a backup center and a guard, and if you could somehow get another forward somehow, like that is interesting. The only problem is, like, what do you do with the starting lineup if you're the Nuggets?
Oh man, their defense would be Swiss cheese. Oh.
Yeah, the thing that's underrated about MPJ is he's 6'10". He's huge.
Big dude. Yeah.
And having him and Aaron Gordon as your forwards is a luxury.
Yeah.
Because they are so big.
Because look, the dynamic of this team is going to change. Is it Christian Brown's going to get his extension this summer, right?
Yeah.
Jamal Murray's going to be too hard to trade.
Yes.
Right. I mean, unless you have suggestions. Then there's Aaron Gordon and there's Jokic. Outside of that, like, I think everybody else is either on the table or you're hoping can get better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other teams you as potential?
Yeah, I've
Patterson.
Throw on the Toronto Raptors. I have a team here. Yeah, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Okay, because they had beat around the bush of potentially trading RJ Barrett in that Ingram trade.
Yeah.
And the Ingram Scotty RJ kind of front court / wing is kind of a weird fit, right? As you've illustrated before in the past.
Very delicately.
So what about something centered around and Ochai Agbaji, by the way, is a player that the Raptors either have to pay this summer or next summer, or they will have to trade. And so how about RJ Barrett, Ochai Agbaji, Michael Porter Jr. And I would like a pick in this situation here because you're taking on money, but I don't know. How do you feel?
Yeah, that is interesting because those are two playable guys. Agbaji would be like their 7th best player on this roster.
Yeah, little Bruce Brownie in terms of what he can do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is pretty interesting. I don't love the fit of RJ Barrett though.
Yeah, the 3-point shooting, man. Oh my God. On the Nuggets, especially too. Yeah.
That is also the problem is if you remove MPJ and you don't replace him with shooting, then like who shoots on this team outside of Jamal?
Yeah, I know. Jokic is the only other guy that shoots on this team. And Joshua Carroll asked, like, that's rough for Toronto. Why would they do that? I think the reason they would do that is for a pick of some sorts, or if they really like Michael Porter Jr. Like they obviously need shooting on that team. The Raptors are also one of those teams. I mean, if you look at the regular season stats, the Nuggets and Raptors are basically attached at the hip in terms of 3-point frequency. Neither team really takes a lot of threes. Michael Porter Jr. will help in that regard for the Raptors. And he's just a little bit better of a fit next to Scotty and BI. But yeah, I don't know. It's not something I think the Raptors would do, but just a thought experiment, you know.
I mean, I think it would help the Raptors in that they would get a legit 3-point shooter on their roster.
Totally. Yeah.
and a guy who like you can like take away these skills that are all the same,
Yeah.
which is something that they'll have to address at some point for sure.
Yep. I agree.
Miami is another weird team.
Sure, let's do it. Why not? Yeah.
I don't know if you could get like a Duncan Robinson and a Kyle Anderson and
there you go.
Maybe one other guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. They would trade Haywood Highsmith, but they need shooting at the forward pretty badly, like to play next to Bam or to Ware, somebody like that. I think that he is an interesting one.
Yeah.
For Miami. And then I feel like they have a bunch of these like mid-tier, guys that are making 20 million, 10 million.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that you could get a couple guys back and that can shoot it a little bit.
That's impressive.
He can really shoot it, and he can even put it on the deck a little bit too. Yeah. I just think there might be something there with Miami.
I like this because, I mean, okay, well, from the Nuggets perspective, even if you're like, okay, Duncan Robinson, Kyle Anderson, it's not like the craziest package. They're expiring contracts, so it really allows you to get under that apron, or try to get under the first apron. But that allows you to do that, alleviates some pressure off of you because of Aaron Gordon's contract. So I don't hate it. But I would, if I'm Denver, I'm like, how can we do a Wiggins for Michael Porter Jr. swap? Is that possible? Because it's not like their money is too off, 2 years, 28 million, 2 years, 38 million. Let's figure something out here, Miami, You
could do Wiggins and Kyle Anderson.
Yeah.
I think that gets you close enough.
Wiggins.
I mean, Kyle Anderson he's just a good player that you can just plug in different spots.
Yeah.
I don't love him with the Nuggets because he's not a shooter either.
No, he's not. No.
But at least he's a guy that can play. And then if you're Miami, if MPJ works out, great. If not, I don't know. Like he's just another shooter that you can put out there. I think that there's something interesting there with just getting multiple pieces back.
Yeah.
MPJ. But it's going to be like one of these like mediocre East teams, or the problem is like what?
Can I suggest the non-mediocre East team, or a team that at least this year wasn't?
Yes.
The Boston Celtics.
Okay.
They're looking to trade and get money off the books, right? Okay. Drew Holiday makes a lot of money.
Yes.
For longer than Michael Porter Jr. does. He's obviously a more valuable player also. So you would have to probably attach a pick in this situation. Likely attach a pick. I would do that. And I would try my darndest to also nab Kristaps Porzingis and take a swing at him. And again, I don't know how the Nuggets will be able to conjure up the assets to do this, but the Celtics are clearly taking a gap year here. Thoughts, opinions?
Forced to.
Yes, forced to. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you get $63 million.
So let's do just for Holiday. There you go. 38, 34, or 32. Yeah.
Yeah, the problem, like, you have to match close to MPJ's contract because of the apron.
I don't think they can, right? They can't.
It's like
they can't. I don't think they can aggregate salaries. The Celtics, at least.
Yeah, this is where the apron stuff gets really.
Yeah, they can't aggregate. This won't work. Okay, so never mind.
It has to be like for like.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, it's tricky. Failure
of a thing. And that's probably like the Celtics will be able to get a lot more for Drew Holiday. I'll tell you that. I think that's also a team I kind of want to talk about once we get to it. But yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think and a lot of these, I think if you're the Celtics, you're rooting for OKC to win the title. Because like these pesky guards that OKC has, like, okay, if they win it all and they are defending guys like Randall and Jokic and players like that with guards.
Yeah.
It's a copycat league. Everybody's going to be like, well, how do we get our own Alex Caruso? How do we get a guy that can do all of that for us?
Mm-hmm.
Drew Holiday is one of the few players that we know can do it. He's proven. He's a little bit older, but he's proven that he can be that kind of guy for you. And so I think if you're the Celtics, you're like, please, OKC, win this thing. Because if you do, then it'll be very easy to trade Drew Holiday, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I honestly, I think there would be a lot of teams interested in Drew. That's just like the nature of the type of player he is, 3-and-D.
It'll be easier to trade him than Michael Porter Jr. right now.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
There's not anything with Detroit, is there?
Do you? Yeah, I guess maybe. Sure.
I mean, does Tobias Harris and Simone Fontecchio interest you?
If you're Denver, maybe. Yeah, you get off money. You get off 1 year of money. The issue here becomes it's like the Pistons will eventually, I believe they have to do it this summer. I can't remember, but they have to extend Jaden Ivey. And eventually they'll have to extend Asar Thompson. And so, this is the whole thing where teams start to get expensive and all that. I wonder if
Jaden's is a restricted, free agency candidate, though.
Yeah. That probably is. Yeah.
If you're Detroit, you're like, hey, listen, you didn't play.
Yeah, go get that money.
And we're not sure you're a starter, so we're going to pay you good bench player money.
Yeah.
Go to his agent and say that. He's going to say RFA, just 3 letters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I would be a little terrified that extension because he was a high lottery pick and he's had some high scoring averages. I don't know.
Yeah, but do they believe? That's a good question. Yeah. I mean, I guess so. Tobias Harris. Sure. No, I'm not in love with this, but I guess it could work. Yeah.
You a Fontecchio guy?
I was when he got traded to Detroit last year, but from Utah. I was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe he could be a rotation guy. He has not been that, though.
No, that kind of scares me that he is just another one of these guys that's just going to sit on the bench and just not play at all for Denver.
Yeah.
They've done a really good job of acquiring those kind of guys.
Yeah.
Over the past year or so.
Yeah, okay. Dario Saric's and
Dario. They just refuse to even look at him.
Yeah. Him and Zeke didn't play. Him and Zeke just did not play at all.
No. Yeah, that Zeke contract. It's not like it's so big, but it's like, man, he's got 3 more years.
Yeah. Hopefully, DeRon Holmes is something. Hopefully, DeRon Holmes.
Something that you just kind of kept hearing is like there is one more rotation player.
Yeah.
On the bench.
Mm-hmm.
He should be ready for the beginning of next season. You think? Yeah. I saw him warming up, and doing all sorts of exercises before the games. So, no,
he'll be ready. He'll probably play in the summer league. I'd imagine it was during the summer league that happened, right? It was a year.
If I'm him, I'm like, thanks, but no thanks.
No, thank you.
I'm playing there again? Heck no.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
Or you got to face your fears. What are you? Are you a face your fears guy, or are you
definitely a face your guy? Yeah. I'm definitely like, all right, let's get this over with. I got to do it here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm typically the same way. Where I tore my ACL, it's like, all right, let's get back in the building.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Go back to the scene of the crime.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it weird the first time?
Nope.
Nope. See, you faced your fear. There you go.
Faced my fear. You got to do it too, DeRon Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
We believe in you.
We believe in you, DeRon.
Is there anything with maybe some of these guys? And before you give me the oh god, okay, listen.
I like the Wizards. I'm on record here. I like the Wizards.
The Wizards are a team that can. This is one where it's like, hey, the Wizards. We're not necessarily in the Michael Porter Jr. business here, but we're definitely in the give us your first round pick.
Yeah.
Business here. And they have Marcus Smart and Chris Middleton, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That they're going to trade.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's going to happen. And so I wonder if you could get those guys. And if you are, I don't know if you can get both of them because it's $55 million. It's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think they are renting their cap space out for picks at this point. And so can they rent this cap space? And like MPJ is not just a guy, like he can play. Like he's going to play at a pretty high level. But I think he's a guy that I think that can help this team. And I could play him next to Alex Sarr offensively. I think, that could help him.
Good shooter. Yeah.
So I wonder about getting at least one of Chris Middleton or Marcus Smart, over there. And then they've got other guys like Rashawn Holmes is probably better than any backup center they have.
Yeah.
He's a little Chuck Hazy,
He is definitely Chuck Hazy.
He's like in the Chuck Hayes realm. Not that they're similar players, but that they are, of the same caliber.
Yeah.
I just think something is going to happen with these guys. I do not think that Marcus Smart and Chris Middleton are going to be wearing Wizards jerseys for a long time.
Oh man, if I was Denver, I would like to take a chance on Chris Middleton.
Okay.
At this point, what do you have to lose? Good shot creator, can create his own shot. When he's healthy, can be a decent defender. So
take a risk on Saddiq Bey.
Maybe that's your deal. Or I would like Rashawn Holmes over Saddiq Bey. Can we do that? Or is that too much? Is that
too much? Yeah, he makes too much. You'd have to. Could I interest you in a Zeke Naji?
Oh, I'm definitely getting that pick then. I'm definitely getting that 2031 first round pick. Yeah.
That still fails.
But
it's something like this.
Yeah.
Where you get a couple players back.
Andrew, can I interest you in Jordan Poole if you're Denver?
Oh man. to like take the Russ minutes.
Yeah, take the Russ minutes, be coming off the bench, be your guy. $31 million a year to come off the bench is something, but at least you got a score, you got a guy. Basically like absorbs the Strother Westbrook.
Yeah. Thing. It's a hard sell for me because if a guy's making 31 million and he can't be a part of my closing five,
sure.
That's not a great feeling.
I would do it just to see Nikola Jokic's reactions to some of the things Jordan Poole does. I would love that. I think Poole has also had a really good season. He was good in Washington last year. I just say it would be fun to see that. That would be awesome.
Yeah, if you love just tortured looks on people's faces, then it would be fun. Yeah. There's just no way. There's just no way, right?
Yeah. Or you do, or like actually, I think I'm starting to think there is a version of this that works. Like you do like Marcus Smart and Rashawn Holmes, and that will get you to Michael Porter Jr. money. And now you're doing Smart, Holmes. You get a backup point guard.
Marcus Smart, another one of these guys that I was talking about that can defend bigger players. And that.
You got to take Zeke out of it. Oh, maybe not. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
No, that's interesting.
And they're expiring contracts, so you don't have to be committed to keeping or taking these guys on long term.
Yeah, it just makes you small.
It does. It does make you small. Yeah. But you get a backup five. You get a guy who probably could, we just talked about you need your Quesos and you need your Alex Caruso's.
Yeah, he's one of those guys for sure.
Smart has some of that,
He definitely does. But if he doesn't stay healthy like he did in Memphis, like this is risky.
Then this is terrible.
That's part of why they were able to get Middleton too, was because of his health.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah. I don't know. Okay. We can move on from MPJ. We've talked 29 minutes and 59 seconds about MPJ.
But we could do a lot of options, right?
I think there's options. Are there options that Nuggets fans are excited about?
No. I don't think there's anything right now that within the last 30 minutes that we've talked about that was interesting.
If I was doing a Nuggets podcast, the title of the summer would be The Summer of Internal Development.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's like Ron Holmes, hey, Peyton Watson.
Yep.
Get him in the film room. Let's really figure out who he is. Julian Strother, he showed some flashes there.
Yeah.
At the end of the Thunder series. We need that guy.
Jalen Pickett,
Jalen Pickett. Can you not be terrified when we get to the playoffs? That'd be great.
Hunter Tyson, a backup point guard. Yeah.
Hunter Tyson, you're 6'8". You're old for a rookie. What can you do for us? What can we do here?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, you want to shift gears to the Celtics?
Yeah. Let's shift gears to the Celtics. I have a really spicy trade idea. I'm ready to throw at you.
Okay, I'm excited.
Go to the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh,
yeah,
it's gonna happen here. Okay,
send Drew Holiday to the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay,
they need a point guard. Kyrie's out. Drew will be that guy for them for a little bit.
Wow.
And wait, what is it? $32.4 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington. And you can maybe add another guy in there if you want to, but there you go. Yeah, if you want. I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Dwight. I don't know.
Yeah. Who else? Hardy Party?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
There you go.
I think this gets you close enough. It's failed, but it gets you close enough.
Yeah. Thoughts, feelings, concerns.
I mean, this is helpful because you get these expiring contracts back.
Yep.
The Mavs, if they had Drew Holiday, like this would be a very good defensive team.
Oh yeah.
This is Cooper Flagg will eventually be on this trade machine too.
Yep.
And when you have Anthony Davis, Drew Holiday, Cooper Flagg, Derek Lively, Najee Marshall, I mean, that's a serious team.
Yep.
Even without Kyrie, like that team makes the playoffs, I think.
Oh yeah.
If they stay healthy. And then when you get Kyrie back, you can just slide Drew over.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a serious team. That is interesting.
And then from the Celtics side, like you get two guys who are probably going to fit into what you need.
Yeah.
PJ Washington, really good 3-and-D wing, can knock down his shots, can defend at a high level. Gafford is a big, and who knows what happens with Porzingis next season. You need another big. And both of these guys, you can say, all right, we'll give you the year, see what you guys can do. And if we like you, we'll extend you,
Yeah, that is really, really interesting.
Make it happen, Nico. Also, I think if you swap out Jaden Hardy with like Omax, I guess, or something, it'll.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm them, I'd be willing to send Omax to do this. You know why? Because defense wins championships. Okay. And like you can have
Kyrie and Drew could play together, once
without a doubt they could play together. Drew could play with anybody.
Yeah.
There's not one player in the NBA Drew Holiday can't play with.
I agree. Yeah, he's awesome.
I hate you because I don't want the Mavericks to be good. Okay.
I know. This is why I brought it up. This was the first suggestion that I thought of that I was like, how could I ruin Andrew's Wednesday morning?
That's the best trade of the day.
There we go.
And like,
would you do this if it was if Boston came back and said we don't want any of these players, we want Derek Lively?
No, heck no.
Okay, all right, okay, just temperature check. Just want to.
Yeah, Derek Lively's really good.
Yeah,
he's really, really good. I never talked about it. I would trade Anthony Davis. I wouldn't do this timeline. Like,
yeah, I know.
Get me out of this 2 timeline thing as fast.
Just start over. Yeah.
When has it ever worked?
Well, would you? I mean, it'd be silly to entertain the Anthony Davis to Boston trade, but you could do it. You could pull it off.
I mean, yeah, you could. The problem is, though, when you're doing the 2 timeline, you want to trade Anthony Davis for younger players.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you don't want Drew Holiday is not part of that timeline. But this is definitely the most interesting trade of the day, and they could make it happen because they're going to need to do something with PJ, I think, because you're going to want to allow Cooper Flag to spread his wings and play as many minutes as possible. And he's a 4.
Yep.
And
Gafford wants starter money. That was a report that came out, right? So,
well, good luck.
Good luck. Gafford. Go get that in Boston. Yeah.
Not going to happen in Boston, but go get it somewhere else. Free agency, not going to happen. There's going to be a rude awakening for a lot of players over the next few years because of the way that the CBA is set up. It's going to squeeze players like Daniel Gafford.
Totally.
You know, it's going to be really challenging for those guys to get the kind of money that they want. Okay, I like that, and I'm mad about it. Who else could use a Drew Holiday, do we think? I mean, that's
every team could use a Drew Holiday, as wildly as that.
Yeah. No question that most teams could and should trade for Drew. What about another team, the Grizzlies, that need to shake up? Yes.
Yeah.
Is there anything there? Is there enough expiring money? Not really.
No, not really. Yeah.
Sorry, Grizzlies.
I can't. I've seen this trade around on social media, and I can't take credit for it. But Jason Timpf suggested a Ja Morant for Jaylen Brown trade.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's let's shake things up big time. Ja for Jaylen. Like
Ja doesn't make enough.
Right. So you might add
Clark back or Concha or something. So they can't be aggregated. That's the problem with this.
No, so Boston can't aggregate, but Memphis can. It's yeah.
Okay.
So this would work technically, I think. Yeah.
Huh. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's interesting. It definitely is like if the Celtics want to really change up what they're doing, they're like, we want to change what we want to do, and we want to get another guy in here in Ja Morant who can get to the basket, can generate tons of paint touches. We know he has a checkered injury history, gets hurt, etc.
Yeah.
But we're doing this gap year thing, and we believe Ja can be really good in Boston. I don't know. I don't think they'll sell themselves on that. I don't think Ja is a guy the Celtics would be interested in, but just an interesting thought. I think this is more interesting for Memphis, where you're like, Jaylen Brown with these three guys. Not bad, actually. Cool.
Yeah, Jaylen's good. Part of the problem there, too, is like, I don't know, Jaylen's 28.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know that like, does this make you a better team for sure?
Yeah.
Because, and you did a great job of this, highlighting that, there's 4 guards left of the Final Four right now in the playoffs.
There is, yeah.
And you need a dominant guard in the NBA today. You just do. Yep. And if you take Ja Morant is, when he is 100% and he's locked in,
he is incredible.
One of those kind of guys.
Yep.
And so are you willing to punt on one of those guys for a forward who's really good, but not like a top level superstar forward? He's been a great number 2 to Jason Tatum.
Yeah. Who makes more money for longer, by the way. That's the other part of this, is like, making a lot of money moving forward.
Yes, it is. That is another issue that you run into. Yeah. I don't know. Are you ready to punt on Ja Morant?
If you're the Grizzlies, it's tough.
Let's say if the Grizzlies called you and like, yes, we've been listening all year. to the NBA Daily. And we just listen, man. We trust your opinion.
We want to thank you. Yes,
you're the smartest basketball mind out there, and we need to know: should we trade Ja Morant today?
I wouldn't do it. Yeah,
you wouldn't.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I'd be too gun shy to trade Ja Morant. I would tell them to try to find a way to trade Jaren Jackson Jr. and get like a mug of stuff. Yeah.
Really?
Because I think like Jaren is a really, really good player, was the best player for the Grizzlies this year. Want to highlight that. Jaren was the best player for the Grizzlies this year.
That's what you say right before you provide an insult. So go ahead.
Yeah. But at the same time, like you're absolutely going to have to pay this guy. And he's absolutely going to get a super duper. Actually, I don't know if he's super duper max eligible, but he's going to be a max eligible. And like, yeah, that's a lot of money. I think some teams would be willing to pay that money. Like if you're, I don't know, a team that's desperate for a center. I'm thinking of like the Lakers or whatever. I don't know, but yeah.
Oh, don't you dick.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to invoke that.
Are you kidding me? Is that even possible?
No, we don't need to get into Grizzlies, Lakers.
Is it even possible? I would be so mad if that happened. Hold on.
Oh my God.
That right?
Yeah, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, call it.
No,
no, it won't.
Get out of town with that.
It won't work. You can't do it.
God, that would be so bad.
But I would hold on to Ja Morant. I think the Grizzlies in general, they need to just add depth that they rely on. They were missing Brandon Clark in the playoffs. They couldn't trust Zach Edey for a big portion of the season.
Lost Jalen Wells.
Yeah, they lost Jalen Wells. They just need other rotation players next to their group that kind of fine tune that group.
Yeah.
Okay. We could do Drew Holiday ideas for a really long time. Do you feel like the Celtics in their forward thinking ways would ever trade Derek White? Or do you see Derek White as like he is locked in? This is our guy, him, Jalen, Tatum. That's what we're building with after Tatum comes back.
I mean, you look at the money that he's owed. His extension kicks in next season.
Yeah, and he's 30 right now.
28 million, 30 million in 26, 32 and 27, and a player option for 34.8. He's 30 years old. He is, underrated still, probably in the basketball community. He's 16, 4-4, great defender.
Yep.
The best guard shot blocker in the NBA. I wouldn't trade him. I think you could get a boatload for him.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's another guy that you could trade to any team. Yeah, I would not trade Derek White. I mean, he's 4 years younger than Drew. I think you should trade one of them.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. Both.
I have another Drew Holiday idea.
Okay, let's do it.
Go to the Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
Drew is a California guy.
Yeah, he is.
And I think the Warriors, obviously, Drew has played Team USA basketball, pretty sure. Yes.
Yes. Yes, he has.
Seems like a Steve Kerr guy.
Okay.
I think fits what they like to do. Moses Moody, Buddy Hield, Trace Jackson Davis, and Guy Santos. And the reason I know those names is because I've already looked this trade up. Yeah, Guy Santos. Yeah, there we go. And obviously picks would have to be included in this. That there's no question about. But there's your trade.
Wow.
And so the Celtics can take some risks, right? They're like, cool, Buddy Hield can shoot. We like that. Can be a guy for us next year. Moses Moody, we think he's not being used properly in Golden State. Maybe we can change that. Trace Jackson Davis, big that we can take a swing on. Again, a young guy. They're getting some young pieces here, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and picks. I have to include that there will be picks involved in this trade. But
this is disgusting. This is a travesty.
Oh my God. Yeah. So no, this is not
Yeah, I mean, if you're just wanting to get off of Drew Holiday's money, this is a way to do it. Break it into smaller pieces.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
You
hate this. You're like, this is gross.
This is so gross. You have the Moses Moody extension that doesn't look so good because by the end of that series, like they just needed guys that could play, and he could not play.
Yeah.
But he's a fun shooter, but like, really, is he playing for Boston? Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This would also make me mad, though. Like, the Warriors don't need Drew Holiday. Come on, get out of here with that. That'd make that team really good.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Because I can tell you can go find your next Moses Moody, Trace Jackson Davis pretty easily.
In the draft, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not that hard. You can, guys want to go play for the Warriors. Like, you can go find those guys off the scrap heap. Give me a break.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, well, that really unsettled my stomach. Okay, let's see. Yeah, they're a team that needs something else too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else? I might even have to go after that. That was tough.
That hurt your stomach.
That hurt. That hurt.
I don't know. I can see a lot of teams being willing to trade for Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
And I also think he's the guy that will end up being traded. I think Kristaps Porzingis on an expiring deal, that's also interesting. Makes $30 million. Obviously was limited because of some kind of illness that he was dealing with. That's interesting. I don't know what team is out there that's like, we want to trade for Kristaps Porzingis. Maybe that's a Nuggets destination. Maybe they're like, Jokic and Porzingis kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Man, I wish they could aggregate salary, either one of these teams.
Yeah.
I have Phoenix. I have the Phoenix Suns
right
now.
Oh God.
But if you're looking for a way to just clear a bunch of salary, like,
see, this makes me sick. This is just,
Kevin is one of those guys, that you can clear salary real fast. He makes $54 million next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's a match here, because I don't think you're just like swapping Jaylen Brown for him.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
which would be like the only way. God, the Suns are in some trouble.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's like a whole, we could do another 45 minutes on what the Suns are going to do.
Yeah, that's brutal.
They're going to trade him to Houston, right? Or, well, actually, we can't say that for sure, because now Giannis is looming.
Yeah. Also, if you're Houston, you got to feel pretty good about your team too.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
I think
almost beat the Warriors. Yeah.
I think you trade for Giannis. I don't think I'd trade for Kevin.
Yeah, I agree.
36. He's 36 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 1 year left.
Man, the Suns are screwed.
They're so screwed. They are so screwed.
They are so screwed. I can't even think of it. Like, I don't know what they would even do. I have no idea.
I don't know how they get out of this mess, but
yeah,
I
will say on the
teams that I think would want to swap places with them, though.
It's sort of interesting to start talking about these conversations of like what Phoenix will do, what Denver will do, what Boston will do, what Dallas might do, Golden State, obviously. A lot of these teams have to make trades, and
I think this would be a very active summer.
It feels like a very active summer already. It feels like we're gearing up for a lot of stuff to happen.
Yeah. I think we'll have a lot of emergency podcasts to do this summer, which will be very exciting.
Yeah.
Please leave us a comment either on this YouTube page, or you can comment on Spotify. You can still comment on the Athletic app. I know that there's people that have not been super happy with things that have happened on the Athletic app lately, and I sincerely apologize for any inconveniences that it's caused. But I will say that I've really enjoyed doing these podcasts on Wednesdays, doing the live stream. So if you're not, if you're listening on the podcast catcher of your choice, you can also watch us live on YouTube. We went a little bit earlier this morning than we typically do. But we'd love to have you. join us live, and let us know in the comments on Spotify, or even leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you're enjoying these long form shows, we'd really appreciate that. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And we're going to got the conference finals.
Oh, yeah.
Chugging along.
Oh, yeah.
We thought we'd bring you something a little bit different today because there's so many podcasts talking about the conference finals. We're just here talking trades.
There's going to be a lot of trade talk this summer, man. We're going to do this so often because of what's abound.
I love it. I love team building so much. So
same.
We'll talk a lot of team building on these Wednesdays. So if you enjoy that, join us Wednesdays on YouTube, and we will talk to you guys again tomorrow morning.